Heyo everybody, Haku here with my first live reaction or read-through for Reiwa no Dara-san, and I'm excited. I'm excited to do something new. I've been waiting to get time to do this for a while, so truth be told, for those of you who have been around a while, you know that I have started things before where I've been like, technically a long time ago I read the first few chapters. This is another one of those in the sense that the way I find a lot of manga is I will see the mangaka posting on Twitter at some point, and I'll be like, oh, that's cool, there's usually a link to whatever their manga is, and at that point there's maybe only a few chapters out a lot of the time, and I read them in Japanese, and I'm like, oh, that's neat, and everything, and for this specifically, I was like, oh, I want to read that for the channel at some point, I'll save it and read it for the channel at some point, and it's been a while since then. It was at least last year when I first discovered it. So it's already midway through May. It's already been at least 5 months since I read whatever I read, but I maybe read the first few chapters. Also, maybe did not read them in English. I do not remember. I might have only read them in Japanese, but at some point one night I discovered it, read a few chapters, and was like, oh, I'll save it to do videos on, and that was a long while ago. So technically, no, I don't remember a lot. I remember something about the main two characters that I will not bring up yet because I want to let people discover it for themselves who are reading along with me. A lot of you have probably already started reading on your own, but there are people who just read along with me, who say they just read whatever I read along with me. So I will not spoil anything I might know, which is next to nothing. This did have the gore tag, which makes me a little bit like, I don't remember if this was quite adult content. I don't remember how it went in that sense, but I said before, I was enjoying Killing Bites on my own. I was reading it, just having fun, whatever, not sharing my journey with anybody. But then I was also reading Chainsaw Man, and it got to a point where I was like, if I can read Chainsaw Man on the channel, I can read basically anything. Like, nothing I read is going to get more weird than Chainsaw Man, I think. So it's like, if I'm doing this, I might as well just be like, you know what? I can read it for the channel, for basically anything. So I like Monster Girl series. I think it is Monster Girl ecchi, but I think it might be on the more serious drama side more than comedy. I don't know, actually. It might be more comedy-ish. Again, I'm going into this with very little memory of anything. And also, another reason why I wanted to hurry up and get to it is we got an anime adaptation announcement, and this only has 40-some chapters so far. It only started in, I think, like 2024. It started kind of recently-ish, all things considered. I mean, technically it's been a few years, but that I'm used to things that are getting an anime adaptation nowadays that I know about, mostly being things from at least like half a decade ago. So if it is only like 2 years old, that's pretty recent. But as always, go support the original and everything. That would be the best. But for the reading, I will have the chapter number on screen so you can follow along, and I'll have the volume cover on screen so you can follow along. But as it is a manga, I straight up cannot show the actual panels. That would be very, very illegal, and I would get into a lot of trouble. Video would not stay up, so you don't actually, you have to follow along on your own for anybody who's new. And there was one more thing I wanted to say, but now that I'm here, I'm kind of forgetting it, so I guess let's start reading. I guess it was maybe that I'm going to start with chapter 1, but chapter 1 of a new manga is usually kind of on the long side, so I don't know if I'll do more than chapter 1. This is just kind of to get a taste of the series. This is going to be me discovering what I'm getting myself into, to be honest. So it might end up, if the chapters are short, it might be a couple chapters this video. It might only be one chapter. I do not know yet. But either way, let's start off with chapter 1, beginning of volume 1 here. We have the main characters in the cover page. And it looks like we have 9 chapters and then a bonus. I don't know if the bonus will be, I'll read the bonus. I don't know if it'll be at the end of chapter 9 with like the digital and everything, or if it'll be its own separate thing. But either way, probably not getting to that this video. Probably not doing an entire volume. But we start chapter 1. Somewhere among the verdant mountains of rural Japan. Listen good, Hinata, Kaoru. Y'all better stay away from that fence in the mountain, you hear? There was once a certain hamlet. Out there in them woods is sacred ground. The gods only abide those who serve 'em treading there. And, in the ruins of that hamlet, a secret. Surrounding it is a fence, which permits entry to no one but who would try when the place feels so awful queer. Those who live in the next town over wouldn't dare to approach. On this long reviled land stands a small shrine of a most peculiar sort. One generation after the next has kept it hidden from the prying eyes of sightseers and thrill-seekers. Private property says the sign, as if that were all there was to it. But in truth, deep within the woods dwells something best left undisturbed. To see it is to suffer and sicken. To defile its domain, damnation. It is naught but a whisper in history, barely recalled even in the household tales of the town's eldest family lines. And we're starting to see the bits of snake. But there are those who know the place, and those who know of the thing within, those who speak in hushed tones of Yamatagi Marara. Yep, that's what they call it. And I love this 2-page spread. This looks really good. And we have Horror 1. That looks really good. I love the composition of this. Okay. Heavy rains across the region. We have the TV. Risk of landslides. Residents to evacuate. On alert near the river. Hey Kaoru, Mom and Dad can't make it back because the train stopped. Gramps sure has taken his time scoping out the mountain. You worried? Okay, so Mom and Dad are a thing. I don't remember pretty much anything. I didn't remember Mom and Dad. I remembered the main characters are siblings, and I remembered the grandpa. So I didn't know if the parents were out of the picture, but apparently they're not. I mean, for this chapter they are, but not in a general sense. Gramps sure has taken his time scoping out the mountain. You worried? They nod. Alright, let's go find him. You can't get mad as long as we stay on this side of the fence. And we see some fallen trees. A landslide. Oh shit, the shrine. He's running through the rain. And this looks really nice. This art's really good. And we see the shrine is crushed. Damn it all. The shrine's ruined. Was the inside crushed too? And he shudders. And we see the this is a really good page. Shutting the silhouetted Dara-san against the night sky. And now we have flashlights coming up. That scream just now. Oh, was that Gramps running past? Okay, and he's running away screaming. Ah, man. The fallen trees wrecked the fence. Watch out for the barbed wire, okay? Do you hear a bell? And then this is, again, even though I did see it like last year or something, I don't know if I was expecting the art to look this good. This looks gorgeous. Sadly, I mean, we've seen the PV for the anime coming up and all, and it sadly doesn't look like the most detailed animation or anything, so it might not capture how gorgeous this looks, but wow, that looks so good. Who's there? We have Goro 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 rumbling. O Matagi-sama, Madara-sama, Madara Gozen. To your people I am of myriad names, but in elder days it was by the title Yamatagi Madara, the speckled serpent who straddles the roof, that I was known. Yamada-san then? That is, what a way to cut it. Because the joke is, Yamada is like such a generic Japanese name. Yamada-san then? No, don't cut it off there. 'Tis not a surname. Then I'd be Gimara, who has a name like that. See, this is why I can't deal with foreigners. You there, boy, can she speak Japanese? I know how he looks, but my little bro was born and raised in Japan. Huh? That's a really cute panel too. Okay, so we went from this art being seriously, seriously good, and then this page hits with the comedy, and it's so good. So, yeah, here we are with the thing I remembered about the characters that I didn't want to say. Gosh, she's lewd, ain't she? Gee hee hee. You probably shouldn't let a grade school boy see you butt naked. Huh? Want my raincoat? It won't fit. Anywho, looks like Gramps is safe. Let's head back. I bet he'll scold us if we stay out any longer. Oh, for sure, right? You looked upon my frightful visage, and that is all you have to say? Huh? I mean, yeah. You're the god of this joint, right? Gramps told us there was some sort of god out here. Such courage. Sure did. I'm Misogiya Hinata, and this here's my little brother Kaoru. See you around. They mean to return. Truly, such courage. And we have character pages for both of them. Okay, so I'll read the character pages since I'm reading the volume version here. And what does his shirt or jacket say? Nekon something, Ketu something, Tatak something. But we have Misugiya Kaoru, a 5th grader at the local elementary school. You may be surprised to hear Kaoru is one of the tallest kids in his class. He takes after his Australian father, having inherited his blonde hair and blue eyes. I had to double check. I was like, let me make sure that was Australian, not Austrian. I sometimes when reading will like just kind of glance over and then something won't line up and I'll be like, hold on, let me look back. At first glance, he seems like a mild-mannered, polite young boy. When Kaoru was little, his mother made him wear cute hand-me-down clothes that his older sister hated. Kaoru didn't particularly mind, and most of his outfits are decidedly feminine to this day. For his part, Kaoru isn't picky about clothes either way. He tends to put on whatever he's given. He's easily manipulated and usually goes with the flow. But he has a great relationship with his family. Kaoru has a tremendous weakness for older women. Whenever a certain plain-faced but curvaceous local artist has her hands full drawing her doujinshi, Kaoru puts his inborn artistic talents to work as her assistant. He also walks her dog for her quite often. And then we have Misoge Hinata, our other sort of main sibling. Hinata's in her 2nd year at junior high school one town over. Since she just can't feel comfortable in a skirt for the life of her, she prefers pants, and because long hair takes too long to dry, she keeps hers short. As a result, she gives off a boyish impression. Hinata takes after her mother and has her relatively plain features and black hair to show for it. Alas, she didn't inherit her mother's voluptuous figure. She might seem energetic and sporty at first glance, however, her younger brother is still the active one in the family. Given the choice, Hinata would rather spend all her time loafing around. She's all but completely bereft of self-awareness, but has a remarkable sense for the paranormal. It feels like usually a character like this would be the sporty type, so it's really, really interesting having her not be. Thanks to her androgynous vibes, Hinata has several close friends among girls and boys alike. Her grades aren't anything to sneeze at either. However, she does have a bit of a fixation on her brother, which leads her to rush home relatively quickly and spend little time hanging out with friends after school on weekends. Okay, so I feel like I'm about to sneeze. So yeah, what I remembered, the main characters, and I kind of really, really like the main siblings. Their designs are great, and I like the idea that our main duo here, outside of Dara-san, who is the titular protagonist, tritagonist, I guess. But I like that we went for the trap and reverse trap tropes for the siblings. The logo for Huguri, her favorite discount fashion brand. Okay, really good first chapter though. I thought, again, it's not like I was expecting the art to not be good, but man, the art was so much better than I remembered. Like, again, not that I remember it being not good, but wow, that was really, really good looking. And then we spend all this time building the horror, as the chapter titles are named, building the horror, building the tension, so terrifying the grandpa's running away, and then we nail the punchline with it being comedic there at the end, and them being these modern kids who just aren't scared. It's like, oh, they said there was a god up here. It seems they were correct. So yeah, I thought that was really, really, really good. And I'm interested to see where it goes from here, because I still, tone-wise, and like how much we'll get comedy-wise, how much we'll get like serious topic-wise, how much we'll get fan service-wise, in all of those aspects, I, after one chapter, am not sure how heavy or not heavy will lean in any of those directions. So I'm interested in seeing where it goes from here. But since that wasn't crazy long, especially given that I've yapped a bunch, we can read more. Let's read chapter 2. Chapter 2 starts with, the modern town was formed by the union of villages and hamlets that once stood around two low mountains. Faint traces of an old local legend yet remain. A local deity, a mountain god, or a monster of some stripe. They say, those who tread too far into the mountains are cursed. They writhe and suffer. They say those who enter the spirit's domain may die. Some never make it back. They say those who defile the shrine are found dead, their limbs crushed and left for the crows. The Misogia family has tended the mountains for generations. They tell of a beast like a snake, large enough to straddle a house, a frightful thing which well deserves its title, Yamatagi Marara. To this day, they avow it slithers deep in those mountain woods. And, oh, how that thing does hate mankind, but its grudge makes it our shadow, always close, always watching. The tale is passed down to each new head of the family. I'm Misogia Hinata. This here's my little brother Kaoru, Misogia. So they are of the mountain steward's line. No wonder they know of me then. Back at home they'll likely learn anew what a danger it is to approach me. If Misogi as they be, their grandfather will sternly forbid them from returning to the mountains. Sorry about that jump right in the middle of something. I heard a bunch of noise outside and I was like, I should go check that out, see what that is. Sorry about that. But we were at, if Misogi as they be, their grandfather will sternly forbid them to return to the mountains. I shan't see them again, and then she gets cut off. I could kind of see where this was going. So that's where you're hiding. They're back? Horror 2. That's a really good frontispiece there. Yeah. Yes, I understand. Tomorrow then. Thank you for handling this on short notice. I told the townsfolk to stay out. All right. The bit about the landslide is true, so yes. There's already eyes on the spot. Right. I'll get the fences fixed up right away. That's not the worst of it. You know what, was right in front of me, yet it didn't do anything to me. Damnedest thing, but that's what scares me the most. Tomorrow then, tell the priestess I owe her one too. Thank you. So, how'd the mountain fare in the big storm, Gramps? Hinata, did you hear any of that? Nah, not really. Looked like a pretty heavy call, though. Did it? You'd best just forget all this. Listen, I always say this, but now I really mean it. Stay the hell off of the mountain, you hear? The fences go without saying, but since the storm and the landslide, you gotta steer clear of the whole mountain till I know it's safe. 'Kay, got it, Gramps. So yeah, that's what our grandpa said. You ought to mind your elders. And the slopes really are still treacherous, so don't venture too far. Then again, thinking back, perhaps I made a mistake. Yeah, it's like, even without the danger of this supernatural being, the actual physical, natural disaster type danger is there. Between the landslide and the fallen trees, the shrine and its torii gate were ruined that night. Oof, what a mess. But 'twas a natural disaster, yes. In such a special case, I'm not sure how to deal with trespassers on the mountain. Shouldn't you just put a light curse on anyone who comes too close? No questions asked? Have you not a human heart? I'm not the sort of spook to spread doom indiscriminately. Would you have me curse those who come to do repairs, too? Good point. Now that I think of it, I should have cursed you and your brother a bit for dropping in so carelessly. Oh, speaking of last night. And then, we think you'd be way scarier in like a can't be reasoned with kind of way if you didn't talk. You spoke to me first. The words slipped out. Excuse rejected. And now we have instant noodles. Can you really eat that? I indulge in an offering now and then. I usually am given sweets that spoil quickly, or crops that I could already steal when I please. I seldom get to partake of warm meals. I poked around in storage back home and found a book with something about you in it, Yamada-san. I know Yamada's common, but at least call me Yamata-san. I can't read much of the fancy calligraphy, but I took a pic. Ah, it's accurate for the most part. This is what cell phones are like nowadays, eh? You know about cell phones? Do not take me for a fool. Some punk snuck into my turf a while back and I scared his phone right out of his hands. I used it quite a lot, without a care for the data fees. Gah. It no longer works though. Okay, now you're way too scary. But if you really did all the stuff in that story, wouldn't everyone who came here end up dead or missing? They did, till the Taisho era or so. I doubt the story's told any longer, but long ago a giant snake ruled these mountains. 'Twas a monster called Yamatagi Marara, the speckled serpent who straddles the valley. Perhaps 'twas less a monster and more of a mountain god of some stripe. To oversimplify it a bit, I'm a vengeful spirit who assimilated that serpent god, the bearer of an ancient curse. A vengeful spirit? So you have a grudge? Against who? Someone from long ago. A curse on your whole bloodline to the end of time. That sort of thing, you know? It would seem the snake god is becalmed once more. While the situation remains precarious, I am quite spent. My elder sister and I will seal it away again on the morrow. And we're having a flashback. But, my dear sister, why did your seal break in the first place? Hold her down. Hard as you can. Off with her arms before she uses her magic. Take her legs too so she can't thrash around. And then we see the limbs being taken off. Sister, help me, please, sister. I know you're still there. Why do you scorn me so? So she was betrayed by her sister who had sealed the mountain god? I shall not forgive them. They will know no mercy. Not those who betrayed me, nor their ingrate masters, nor those of the house that shunned me. I wonder... This hate of mine shall never fade. This is, again, getting really dark and serious. But I wonder, after all this time, because they said Taisho era, I guess, again, plot-wise, some of them are totally going to have to still be around. But it is kind of interesting that it has been so long. So I wonder who even is left for the grudge. And is this series going to be about Dara-san overcoming her grudge through the relationship with these kids? And so consumed by rage, my hateful psyche sunk, submerging itself in the snake god's bound power, until we became a single being. My mind and body were not my own, and I spent centuries as a tatarigami, a wrathful spirit. This text is an account dating from that time, I'd wager. Good thing we didn't bump into you back then. Indeed, I'd have likely sent you to the far shore with a single blow. Anyway, about a century back, I came to disdain my own calamitous fury, and subjugated the rampaging serpent that had tried to consume me utterly. Whatever happened back then's one thing, but how about now? Are you free from all that hate and stuff? I would not expect one so young to understand. But even if hatred remains, 'tis exhausting to live in constant anger. Though either way, I've long since made good on my sworn vengeance. Okay, so the vengeance has been had. You don't say. So you're not a vengeful spirit no more? Would you kindly try to feel a bit more dread? You weren't born with this big ol' snake butt then? 'Tis half spirit and half flesh. I can hide it should I wish. In point of fact, you can't touch it lest I choose to allow you. You're right, I pass right through. A skilled medium could still touch it, though. What are you doing back there? Nata was riding on it. You're an incorrigible child. Either way, tatarigami though I may remain, Killing everyone who comes here would cause more of a fuss than I'd like. For real? Nowadays, any jumped-up moron who makes a mess on my turf just takes enough of my curse beam to squeal a bit, but survive. Kinda slapdash, huh? I guess making too much trouble would have them calling in the exorcists or something. So, what happens if you hide the snake part? Oh, want to see, do you? Well then look, and we see the gore of her missing legs. It's not how I usually scare, but whatever makes him shudder. And I wonder, because we have the multiple arms, how do the multiple arms work and all? And he puts panties on her. The face. Like her face just... These are our moms. I think you should cover up. Okay, your mother sure has flashy taste. Why does your younger brother dress like that anyway? Eldest sons were once oft disguised as girls to fill spirits wouldn't afflict them with disease, but he's the second son, is he not? Nope, he's the first. And then Dara-san getting hit by the reverse trap, and I didn't even notice at first. The panel, freaking Makoto, right? Am I getting her name wrong already? Lifting her shirt. Could you refrain from confusing me any further, child? Again, the face. Okay, and we have character for the grandpa. Misugiya Hyogo, Hinata and Kaoru's grandfather. His wife passed away 7 years ago, leaving him to tend their fields and watch over the mountains alone. Since people are forbidden to enter the deepest reaches of the mountain, he isn't too happy about his grandchildren treating the foothills like a playground. He believes the Yamatagi Marara is real, but the only thing he knows about her the only things he knows about her come from the Misugiya family's own records. For better or worse, he isn't especially attuned to paranormal activity, so he doesn't notice when she's nearby, except for the general sense of dread that washes over him. He's spent many long years in and around the mountains, but he'd never had an undeniable encounter with her until they ran into each other in the first chapter of this book. He tends to be somewhat stubborn and strict when it comes to the mountains, but not without good reason. It's all to keep his family as far out of harm's way as possible. Don't take him for a stodgy, pig-headed old coot. He welcomed his foreign son-in-law with open arms and doesn't the least bit mind how Kaoru presents himself. And then we have next Babinikuman, Bodacious Babe Badler, the story of a 56-year-old man who gets laid off from his job but soon finds new gainful employment with the SCCB, Special Counter-Cybercrime Bureau. Their hiring department scouted him because he's highly compatible with the headsets they wear to transform into digital detectives. As online crime grows more complex and cases pile up, he serves as the Iron Hammer of Justice in this aspirational action manga. I feel like this is coming into play like next chapter or something. Kind of maybe a little bit of like, maybe it should have waited till after. Serves as the Iron Hammer of Justice in this aspirational action manga. It's been a regular fixture in Weekly Shonen Boeing Comics magazine for the past 5 years, and the second season of its anime was recently announced. So I wonder if Boeing is supposed to be like a jumping sound effect? Weekly Shonen Boeing? The scamps left this book behind. Is this the sort of thing that's popular nowadays? And she may end up... We could get the... older, long-lived creature becoming an otaku kind of storyline. But either way, once again, really nice, really good. I like this a lot. I like this a lot so far. Like, this was kind of dark and serious at a point, but the comedy was really good. And I'm a big character guy, and so far I like all of the characters. I think that, for me, the basic premise hits really well for their characters. Like, you've got, again, the trap and reverse trap tropes with the siblings, and then on top of that you have the young kids who don't care about this super serious old curse thing with the long-lived old cursed being, which is something that is a bit of a trope you see a lot. But also Dara-san being somebody who, we're not starting with that full vengeance mode, we're starting with Dara-san being someone who has like already kind of been in vengeance mode for so long that now she's kind of more chill. but not completely. And also the idea that, oh yeah, it was a murderous snake god, and then I was a vengeful spirit because of what happened to me in life, but then my vengeful spirit merged with the, like, Snake Mountain god, and we became what we are now as the sort of vengeful spirit Snake Mountain god. But either way, that was really, really good, really cool. And I think I'm going to do one more maybe, unless it's super short. If it's super short, then maybe I'll also do chapter 4. But I think for right now, let's read chapter 3. This is the like 4th read through I've recorded today, and my voice is kind of getting scratchy and stuff. My throat's getting a bit dry, even though I've been drinking water a bunch. So that's why I think maybe 3 chapters. We'll end it here today. But either way, it's been really good. Just for 2 chapters already, I have enjoyed starting something new, and not just starting something new, but having this much enjoyment toward it already. But we have long, long ago, there were 2 small villages nestled beneath 2 small mountains. Near these hamlets there dwelled a snake god long enough to span the valley between. The speckled serpent had lived for many ages. It considered itself the lord of the mountains. The fearsome creature gobbled up livestock and humans alike. The villagers knew naught of life beyond the mountains to the east and west, venerating the great snake as their deity. They sent it yearly sacrifices so the rest would be spared. Then one day, a family of traveling exorcists appeared, 2 priestess sisters and their parents. The villagers warmly welcomed them. To repay their kindness, the sisters agreed to drive off the giant snake. For 3 days and 3 nights they fought. At last the priestesses were victorious, but the sly serpent had caught one sister off guard and possessed her. Then it turned on the other. That ghastly form, half priestess and half serpent, had 3 sets of arms, they say, like the strange and terrible deities brought to heel by the Buddha. After claiming the priestess's power for itself, the snake swore vengeance on the villagers it saw as rebellious subjects. The next morning, the villagers in the west awoke to find several of their own slaughtered along with the priestess's family. So this doesn't necessarily line up with what we saw coming from Dara-san. So I wonder if the backstory is going to be questionable, if it's a little bit of both, like what the truth is. The Western survivors banded together because it seemed like Dara, the one who became the vengeful spirit that fused with the snake, it seemed like she was the one who was betrayed, not the one who was possessed and did the betraying. The Western survivors banded together with those in the East, and called on what wisdom they could for aid. It took a great many wise folk and a great deal of time. The West Village stood empty. Whoever hadn't been slaughtered had forsaken their home, but both serpent and priestess, enshrined as gods, were bound to the land. At last peace returned to the remaining village. Folks called it Yamatagi Madara, the speckled serpent who straddles the roof, 'cause it's a roof and then some long. If you hear tell of Omatagi-sama or Matagari-sama or whatnot, that's where it's from. But well, the only records left are very old, and who's to say how much is true? Still, that's the gist of it. Also, there's a log of who met what kind of fate at her hands in here. Cool. So, why'd you ask? What made you pull this old book out of storage and want to know about Yamatagi Madara? Hang on. When'd you 2 even hear that name, anyway? It just jumped out at me when I flipped through that book. He'll probably be pissed if I say she told me herself. Alright, time's up. Get to school already. Okay, thanks for the food. So this is our first, we're kind of maybe going to get some school slice of life? That's not how she tells the story, is it? Let's ask her for the details next time. Bye, Gramps. See you soon. Okay, so they're even bringing it up that the story is different. And then again, this nice chapter frontispiece with Horror 3, this title page. Sure enough, elder sister and younger brother, and she's watching on from afar. Off to school, eh? That's all I can see from here. Let's see. How does water scrying work again? Oh ho. Got a lock on him now. The sound's not coming through clearly yet, though. Something like this. Kaoru-kun? Come see me after school, alone. Yes, sir. You can trust your sensei. She immediately gets creeped out. Huh? Who is this fiend? A teacher? How shifty, how suspicious. His ill intent shows plain on his face. Then again, what happens to the boy is of no concern of mine. After school, he says. What time do elementary schoolers get out these days? Yeah, so you came, Kaoru-kun. Don't be shy. Come closer. Open up and show me what you've got. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Yes, sir. And then we have her spying in. Fiend, I should drag you down where you belong. I think she'd have been... And then we see this detailed notes on Dara-san. I think she'd have been about 165 centimeters tall. Her neck's a little long. Her breasts are about as big as the school nurse Shiho-sensei's. She has 6 arms, but they're arranged like this, not like an Ashura's. Her arms are a little thin. Her hair's super long. Her butt's a little bigger than the social study teacher's. Her tail, I'm assuming, is really long. Her crotch is out in the open. No good. Can't have that. You're quite a talented artist. This'll turn a few heads. You really laid out what you're after, which makes it easy for me. I don't know, I'm still too embarrassed to show anyone. Huh? And then I love the discussion getting so verbose. Thinking realistically, a character like this would go for a poncho or something along those lines for outerwear, but it's hard to square that with your core Shinto priestess concept, don't you think? But so long as she doesn't have a reason to spread her arms too often, we could just have her top be roomier than typical vestments, and make the sleeves roughly as wide as they are long. Then, if we fully open up the armhole, there'd be enough space for all 3 arms. If mobility is an issue, she could keep her sleeves tied up most of the time. I feel, though, a Miko-type outfit would look pretty normal on Dara-san. Her figure screams sexy, though, so assuming you're not hung up on what she wears under her kimono, we might be better off putting her in underwear that reins her breasts in a bit for a silhouette that suits traditional Japanese clothing more properly. Since her bottom half is a snake, I'd eschew the typical hakama in favor of a wraparound skirt. Since snakes are a similar thickness all along their body, it'd be a real pain to pull a skirt on from the bottom of her snake half, but it'd get snagged on her 6 arms from above, right? So I think it'd be easier for her to put on the White Priestess's top first, then wrap the skirt around herself. Oh, if we style her Chihaya overcoat more like a poncho, she could drape it over herself like a cape. I think that'd be really cool. This one's a fast talker. Still, a multi-armed Naga, huh? Tons of people cosplay game characters. A fanatic? But you gotta be a real maniac to pick one like this. Gotta love monster girls. Geh. Geh. The meaning of their words escapes me. But this man doesn't seem so wicked after all. Okay then, please go forward with your design, Sensei. Right. I don't know what you want it for, but you got it. So, Kaoru-kun? You don't have to tell me. The secret of your cosplay sewing side hustle. That was kind of a tongue twister for a second. Your cosplay sewing side hustle is safe with me, Sensei. And then, besides, I like you a lot, Sensei. I'd hate to see you leave this school. The terrifying Shota. Right. That little devil. Is that me? So he knows I was once a priestess, does he? Honestly, and then we have flashback? My parents. Honestly, your older sister's so beautiful. Why don't you resemble her in the slightest? And then my sister. I'm ashamed to have a hideous hag like you for a twin. Make yourself scarce when company comes. Wow, awful. You 3 are not supermodels or anything. What the hell? They ostracized me for my homely looks. They wanted a tranquil home, even if that meant killing me for it. And yet, and again, how does this fit into the story? I mean, her sister did betray her. Huh? Who is this fiend? How shifty, how suspicious. His ill intent shows plain on his face. Who am I to say such things? The next morning. Sorry, I guess I was wrong. Written creepily in what looks like blood. Yeek, did I do something bad? This chapter was so fun. I like getting into the slice of life stuff. Kaoru is such a fun character. The serious stuff that's going on with Dara-san is really good. The art looks gorgeous still. The characters are great. But the comedy is really good. Kaoru is a terrifying Shota. Terrifying. And we have a character page for the teacher. Interesting how we haven't gotten one for Dara-san. Maybe they're saving that for like toward the end of the volume. And maybe after we learn more about her backstory, we're like saving the mystery. It's really nice. But we have Furuki Naomichi, Kaoru's homeroom teacher at elementary school. He's in his early 30s, which is much younger than he appears. Damn! Damn! Why are you hitting him with that? A bachelor who lives on his own. His hobbies include sewing and making dolls from felt. He's often misunderstood and rarely manages to make a good first impression on either students or parents. His students catch on to his caring and helpful disposition over time, though, so he manages somehow. He's turned his sewing hobby into a real moneymaker by taking commissions from cosplayers. However, not only are teachers prohibited from taking on any second jobs, but he also frequently ends up making rather risque clothing for women. There's no telling when or how his side hustle might land him in hot water, so he tries his best to keep it a secret. He's also got the Crocs on. And we see her making the drawing and the cat just staring at her. That's a really funny bonus page. This was really funny. This was really good. This was so good. I was expecting to have fun with it, but I wasn't expecting it as much fun as I had. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. This was really, really, really good. Wow. Okay, I'm going to leave it at these three. I'm way more excited to read, even like I was already excited to start something new to read more, but I am even way more excited now. I'm bummed that it's only 40 some chapters. If this was one of those that was like 400, I'd be like, ah, hell yes. I am bummed at how quick I'm going to probably catch up to it. But yeah, that was great. So I hope you all enjoyed something new. I hope you enjoyed being here and everything. Let me switch over to this. I guess, if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these 3 chapters, my first thoughts and reaction to them. How are you feeling? Are you big fans of this already? Etc., etc. Subscribe for more Reiwa no Dara-san, but also so much more on the channel. If you want to help support the channel by sharing this around or by dropping a super thanks, it is really appreciated. But if you want to help support the channel, help me to keep making things, but also get your name at the end of videos and get One Piece bingo a bit early. If you don't know, I do One Piece bingo for every new One Piece chapter. You get it early if you're a member or patron. Just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description if you want to be a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Holly and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls Dee Dee Ban and Maru, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pater Deal, and Elsa the Storyteller. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and supporting, and I'll see you all next time.